Why do they have pictures of giant, enormous people-looking things?
This is the history we know. The rise of civilizations, the power of kings, and the stories that have shaped the human race.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes. I mean, they had to use what they had available.
But what if the history we've been told is incomplete? What if the myths, the tales of gods and angels, of giants and great floods, aren't just symbolic, but literal?
Evidences of all of the major events.
What if there's an alternative history, one that has been hidden, forgotten, and censored out of existence? In this video, we dive deep into the secrets of the past, uncovering ancient texts like the Book of Enoch, and exploring a history of humanity that challenges everything we've been taught. Discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls. In 1946, a group of Bedouin teenagers tending their flocks near the ancient settlement of Qumran unknowingly made a discovery that would forever change our understanding of history. While passing the time, one of the boys tossed a rock into a cave, hearing a strange shattering noise. Upon investigation, they found a collection of large clay jars, one of which had broken open. Inside were ancient scrolls, many of which were later identified as part of the Dead Sea Scrolls, a cache of texts dating back to the Second Temple period of Judaism. The discovery piqued the interest of archaeologists, historians, and treasure hunters. Among the scrolls, one text stood out, the Book of Enoch. This non-canonical religious manuscript had long been forgotten by mainstream traditions. Its contents revealed a different narrative of the biblical flood, and its tales of the Watchers, fallen angels who intermingled with humans, offered a radical new perspective on ancient history. Over the years, more fragments were uncovered from 10 additional caves, and the Book of Enoch, along with other significant texts, was brought back into the light. The Watchers and Nephilim. The Book of Enoch introduces us to the Watchers, a group of angels who were sent to Earth to observe humanity. But these celestial beings didn't stay neutral. According to the text, they grew infatuated with human women, and soon they began to take wives, defying their heavenly mandate. The children born from these unions were the Nephilim, giants who roamed the earth, wreaking havoc upon humanity. These Nephilim were not just larger-than-life figures. They were described as savages, dangerous beings who threatened to destroy humanity. The story of the Watchers and the Nephilim in the Book of Enoch offers a starkly different version of the events leading up to the biblical flood. In the Genesis account, the flood is sent by God as a form of divine judgment. However, in Enoch's version, the Nephilim are depicted as a corrupting force, and the flood is a means of cleansing the earth from the destruction they caused. As punishment, the Watchers are bound and imprisoned deep within the earth, their transgressions forever marked by their chains. This alternate version of events raises the question, could the Nephilim have existed? And is there more to the biblical flood than we've been told? Giants across cultures. The concept of giants, like the Nephilim in the Book of Enoch, isn't confined to a single ancient culture. Stories of colossal beings appear across the globe, from the Americas to Africa to Europe and the Far East. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, numerous accounts of giant skeletons were published in newspapers across North America. These reports detailed the unearthing of bones that were far larger than human proportions, sparking interest and speculation about the existence of ancient giants. Archaeologists and treasure hunters alike dug through ancient burial mounds and cave systems, finding evidence of remains that seemed to confirm these stories. In the Amazon rainforest, similar giant remains were allegedly discovered, though many of these reports were often dismissed by mainstream science. Even the Greek and Norse mythologies are filled with tales of giants, like the Jotnar of Norse mythology or the Titans of Greek legend, whose presence in ancient stories spans cultures separated by vast distances. Marco Polo, the famed Venetian explorer, wrote of a race of giants in Zanzibar, whose strength was said to surpass that of multiple men combined. Given that giant folklore appears in so many cultures across time, could it be that the Nephilim of the Book of Enoch weren't merely mythical figures, but part of a far larger, forgotten history of humanity? Now first, like always, be sure to hit the like button down below. It helps us out tremendously with the reach of this video. Thank you. The role of the Anunnaki in Sumerian mythology. The Sumerians, one of the earliest known civilizations, also tell a story that mirrors the accounts found in the Book of Enoch. In their mythology, they speak of a group of deities called the Anunnaki, often described as beings who came down from the heavens to earth. Unlike the Watchers, the Anunnaki were gods who had immense knowledge and power, and their arrival marked the beginning of a new era for humanity.
So Ron thought, and I believe too, that this is mentioning a earth event.
These gods, much like the Watchers, were said to have intermingled with human beings, bringing advanced knowledge of agriculture, metallurgy, and even writing. According to Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki taught humans the secrets of the stars, mining, and how to craft weapons and tools. But their actions also led to chaos. Just like the Watchers in the Book of Enoch, the Anunnaki's interference with humanity eventually led to a great flood, meant to cleanse the earth of the damage caused by their influence. What's particularly striking is how similar the stories of the Anunnaki and the Watchers are. Both groups of supernatural beings brought knowledge to humanity. Both were punished for their actions, and both contributed to the rise of advanced civilizations. Could the Book of Enoch's Watchers be based on these Sumerian gods? And if so, do these stories point to an ancient, forgotten history of extraterrestrial involvement in our development?
That extraterrestrials had something to do with our development.
The agricultural revolution and sudden human advancement. The agricultural revolution, beginning around 10,000 BCE, marked a sudden leap in human development. Humans transitioned from hunter-gatherers to agricultural societies, cultivating crops like barley, wheat, and rye. They domesticated animals such as goats and sheep and settled into communities. What's striking about this shift is its suddenness. The speed at which humans developed complex societies and technologies seems too rapid to have occurred purely through natural evolution. Some theorists propose that extraterrestrial beings such as the Watchers or Anunnaki may have played a role in this transformation. The Kurdish people, for instance, claim descent from the children of the Jinn, who were said to have been gifted advanced knowledge. Could humanity's rapid leap forward be linked to outside intervention? The Book of Enoch and the Fall of the Watchers. In the Book of Enoch, after the Watchers descend and take human wives, their offspring, the Nephilim, cause chaos on earth. The gods, angered by the corruption, imprison the Watchers deep within the earth. The punishment was severe, meant to cleanse the world of the destruction caused by their actions. Enoch, as an intermediary between the gods and the Watchers, witnesses their judgment and the flood that follows. This flood, much like the one described in Genesis, serves to wipe out the Nephilim. The imprisonment of the Watchers and the flood raise interesting questions about divine retribution and intervention. Was the Watchers' punishment a necessary act to preserve the balance of the earth? And does this story suggest a deeper, hidden history of celestial interference? The censorship of the Book of Enoch. Despite its historical and religious significance, the Book of Enoch was excluded from the biblical canon. Why was such an important text left out? The canonization process, which took place over several centuries, involved the careful selection of which texts would be included in the Bible. Church leaders likely saw the Book of Enoch as too radical, with its depiction of fallen angels, giants, and divine punishment. The exclusion of the book could have been an attempt to maintain control over religious teachings and prevent alternative narratives from gaining influence. While the Book of Enoch survived in some obscure corners of religious tradition, its removal from the Bible reflects the power struggles that define the creation of the Christian canon. What other texts, like the Book of Enoch, might have been deliberately suppressed to maintain a specific narrative? Parallels with other ancient texts. The Book of Enoch is not the only text with a radical version of biblical events. Other suppressed works, like the Gospel of Peter and the Gospel of Mary, challenge the official Christian narrative. The Gospel of Peter, for example, describes Jesus' resurrection with 2 giant angels and a talking cross, elements that would have conflicted with the more restrained Gospels of the New Testament. Similarly, the Gospel of Mary portrays Mary Magdalene as Jesus' favorite disciple, challenging the male-centric view of early Christianity. Both of these texts were excluded from the Christian canon, just like the Book of Enoch. This censorship raises questions about why certain stories, with their alternative views on divine beings and human history, were suppressed. Could these works contain important truths that were deliberately erased to protect the dominant religious narrative? The stories found in the Book of Enoch, along with other censored texts, suggest that human history may be far more complex than we've been taught. From the fallen Watchers and the Nephilim to the ancient Anunnaki, these forgotten narratives invite us to reconsider the origins of our civilization and the forces that shaped it. Whether these tales are symbolic or based on real events, they challenge the official accounts and point to a deeper, hidden history. We encourage you to dive deeper into these alternative histories and explore the mysteries that have been suppressed for so long. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more fascinating content.